Good evening. Long have I tarried. This is Good Mood Coach Daniel Levy with Emunah Therapy Channel. It has been too long, my friends. You know, was talking with a friend. I want to say some things about prayer from today's work in the blessing of being a coach and a counselor. I will share with you some insights I had, and maybe they will be of assistance to you. And if not, pass them on, or if not, just stop it and go find something that is relevant. Now, Rabbi Arush would bring in the name of Rabbi Nachman, who says that if a person needs to find a doctor and must do that, then he should find the best one in the world. And if otherwise, he should just have faith and pray and not go to the doctor. But if he needs to go to the doctor, he should find the world-class doctor. Okay. How do we explain this? Well, the Baal Shem Tov says, trust in God and tie up your camel. So we have this idea of doing efforts that are wise, but realizing we don't control the results. We do not. We do not. They're all in God's hands. We might be co-creators, which means that I co-create my outcomes, potentially, whatever, and God is co-creating my outcomes. We're partners in creation. Not only that, I realized in the last session today, we usually think of co-creators as like tikkun olam, as like we're fixing up the world and we're co-creators. I'm going to go out there and try to raise money for charity and for, some sort of charitable organization. And then God's going to arrange things to make serendipity that I will hopefully find the right type of donors. Then we'll get the money together. We'll put the charity together. And with all that, divine providence, we'll be able to help the people in this world. I wouldn't have been able to do it alone, of course. And yet, it's not that I don't have a role to play. I'm a co-creator. But no. I have a person who is recovering from some intense mental experiences. And we came to the conclusion, since they are also a faith-exploring person, that maybe when it comes to the bad, we also co-creating. How so? Because maybe also I play a role and God plays a role. It's not just me. I didn't just create all my negative thoughts. What kind of apikoros would I be if I were to just go ahead and try to claim, like we often do, that I am creating all of these negative thoughts, all of them? All? How dare I? I've denied God in this world. All of the positive things that I'm doing, I'm manifesting in the world through my own thoughts, and all of the negative things I'm doing, I'm manifesting in my life through my negative thoughts. As I once said to someone, you cut off the head of God, in a certain way. You could say, what? God's not playing a role. God doesn't run the universe. Oh, I do. Me and my thoughts, I'm an all-powerful thought machine. No. But on the other hand, I do influence things. My thoughts, my feelings, my choices do influence things. So I would say a balance of both. Let's try that model out tonight. We co-create. I do things and God does things, and God does things and I do things. I do things and God does things, and God does things and I do things. And so on the negative side too, we could say that even my negative thoughts and my different emotional disorders and different mental difficulties, even those could be said to come in a co-created system, that I make certain decisions which damage my mind in different ways. And God gives me more opportunities to damage my mind, or causes my mind to be extra damaged than it would have if I was somebody else. Or even the opposite, God gives me a damaged mind, and I choose to engage my damaged mind in a certain way, which then causes my damaged mind to get worse. Now, I could go into much more detail, but I think you get the idea. Essentially, that there's a play back and forth between what I choose to do and how God chooses to act. But God has the ultimate free will, and I have the relatively small free will. As one of the clients said today, that maybe God runs about 70, 80%, 90% of everything in our lives. I mean, you could say 100%, but from an experiential free will point of view, even the free will I have, I don't really control these big moving pieces. I don't control my height. I don't control my original personality. I don't control the village I was born in. I don't control the parents that I received. Unless you want to say, okay, of course, before you were born, the soul chose the parents. Fine, but that's not what we're talking about right now. Instead, what we're talking about is that, no, I didn't control that COVID came into the world. Must be that my thoughts created COVID in my life. I wouldn't have gotten COVID if I didn't have secret unconscious thoughts that I'm subconsciously manifesting COVID in my life. What? I created the COVID virus? Moronic. No. But God brought COVID into the world and arranged it that I had an immune system that was compromised, let's say, and then I, made certain decisions and got the COVID virus, and then I responded to it in a certain way. So there is like so much that God is orchestrating for us, so much. And on the other hand, we have choice. And so I think what I want to share with you, the main thing I'm trying to say is that we have co-creation even on the negative. But we have a beautiful teaching from the Mohorosh. Let me share with you. Most of the nervous disorders and bitterness and groundless fear, these are a result of a person's apathy and feelings of hopelessness. To avoid all this, what should we do with our part in the creation? Accustom yourself to say 4 words, all will be well. It's going to work out. Fine, God's got this. He knows what he's doing. Through this, you will expel all of the anxiety and bitterness you have and trust in God with immense confidence. You will realize that just as he has not abandoned you so far, that he will not desert you now. Be aware that almost all those who suffer from nervous disorders could be cured completely if they would only endeavor to believe and say all will be well. They would then gain a complete cure, both spiritual and physical. Their lives would be transformed into something truly wonderful. So what are these words? All will be well. 4 words. Now let's find different ways to say that. I think one could be, God knows what he's doing. God's got this. I trust God in this process. Just like God before took care of me and worked this thing out and worked that thing, so too now he's going to work this out too. All will be just the way he needs it. And that's well. That's well. How God needs it as well. God's will as well, right? So there's different ways to say all will be well. Sometimes maybe the language doesn't work for everyone, but to repeat that, to say that, to internalize that, the Mohorosh is teaching us that we can gain a cure just by doing that. So if I find myself in any compromised situation, which most of us do, every day or every other day, all the day, because that's part of our challenge in this world. It's difficult by design. That's it. So we can use these words, all will be well, to get ourselves out of hell, and to say all will be well. God knows what he's doing, and to assert that trust, and to assert more trust that we believe and we want to flow with God's creation process. And the more we can give it over to God, well, what happened to co-creation? Sorry, I didn't finish my sentence. The more we give it over to God, the more things will go in the path of his will. But so then I was going to tell you, what about co-creation? Now I'm not co-creating anymore. It just sounds like God's creating because I'm letting go of my creative role. But no, that very choice to choose to give it to God is part of my role in creation. Sometimes I myself am the thing that's in the way. So if you're trying to mow my lawn, for example, and I'm standing in the lawn. Now, how does co-creation work when it comes to mowing the lawn? You come over with the lawnmower, and I'm standing in the lawn, and even worse, I'm moving around. Whenever you try to start from this angle, I go in front of the lawnmower there, and it's you can't mow the lawn, and you can't finish mowing the lawn because I'm in the way. So my choice in relation to the lawn mowing, maybe it's a silly example, is to move out of the way. So the choice to trust God and move my own sense of trying to control everything out of the way itself could be my role in co-creating a situation. Maybe God's already trying to do good for me. He's already sending me the blessing of a job, of a wife, of a friend, of money, and I'm in the way. So God's got this covered. He's an amazing business partner, and I'm in the way. I'm in his way. So I have to move out of the way. That's another aspect of co-creating where I'm causing negativity by literally being in God's way. Yes, he could override me, but maybe that's not the challenge of the day. He's waiting for me to move out of the way so he can do his part and create a better life for me, which he's been planning, but I'm in the way and he wants me to make a good, healthy, free will choice in my own life. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? If it does, give me a thumbs up, but I won't see it because this is a recording. But send me a comment or, send me an email or a text. In summary, we have co-creation of the good and the bad. God's really running the world. We can learn to trust him, and we can learn to say all will be well. We can learn to say slogans and affirmations of God knows what he's doing. All will be well. Have a beautiful night. Love to hear your thoughts. If you have any additional soul talk ideas, over and out.